What happens when you reach your goal weight, your labs are good, will your insurance continue to cover your medication for maintenance? If that's your question, then this video is for you. Hey everybody, it's Allie. I'm on a fantabulous weight loss journey and hopefully you'll come along for the ride. So I've got another viewer's question today, and this one is specifically about reaching your goal weight, your labs are good, will your insurance continue to cover your GLP-1 medication? Whether that's Ozempic, Wegovy, Zepbound, Mounjaro, right? Is insurance going to continue to cover it? And this question is challenging to answer because it's really going to depend on your insurance and your diagnosis. Let me explain. A lot of people are under the misconception that if they are diagnosed with diabetes, that their insurance will automatically just cover a GLP-1 medication forever. Now, while this may be the case for some people, I have seen quite a few people post in the support groups that even with their doctor submitting their original diabetes diagnosis, their original lab work that shows that they were diagnosed as a diabetic, that some insurance companies will force you to switch to another diabetic medication and fail before they will cover your Ozempic or Mounjaro for diabetes for maintenance. Again, it's not all insurance companies, it's not all insurance plans. It's very subjective. And I know that people like to post in support groups and they're like, hey, what insurance plan do you have that covers it? It's very specific to your employer, or if you're on Medicare, it's going to be specific to that. So you really need to contact your insurance company and see what their requirements are. They may require, a prior authorization every year, where your doctor submits your lab work, all of his notes, yada, yada, yada. The other challenge with that is that some doctors are not willing to do that because so many patients are on GLP-1 meds and insurance companies are all over the place, denying things left and right for no real logistical reason other than they don't want to cover these medications. So it can be challenging. But I just want to reiterate, as I've done in many other videos, if you have a diabetes diagnosis, it does not mean you are safe. So you need to have a backup plan. You need to do your research about compound medications. And if you need help with that, definitely go check out my compounding video where I go into depth about what you need to look for a quality telehealth and compound company. And you need to have a plan. Whether that plan is, the few months beforehand, you start, getting a 3-month supply so that you can have a little bit to hold you over in case there's an issue with your prior authorization for maintenance. Some insurance companies will only cover certain doses that have been designated for maintenance. And specifically with Mounjaro, those doses are the numbers that are not 0.5, right? So that's going to be your 5, your 10, your 15. I believe those are the ones that are designated. Anything with a 0.5 after it is an in-between dose. So some insurance companies do not cover those for maintenance, which with the information that we know now about these medications and how different dosages work for different people, that's kind of stupid. I mean, I get it, they're going based off of the original clinical trials, but at the same time, these medications have been out for a while. We are constantly learning and evolving, and they should be too. But I won't get off on a tangent. Now, that was all very specific to diabetes. Now let's talk about other conditions for which these medications are prescribed, whether it's weight loss, Zepbound, Wegovy, or a heart condition or something else. It's really going to, again, depend on the insurance company and that specific plan. So you need to make sure that you reach out to your insurance company before you get to that point and say, hey, what's your policy? And even then, you need to be ready for it to change because, again, insurance companies are kind of all over the place right now. But if you have a doctor who is willing to work with you, who is doing their due diligence, who potentially has a team or at least a designated person who does prior authorizations, then you're probably doing better than most when it comes to being set up for success for maintenance. Specifically, if you are on this medication for weight loss only, no other comorbidities or conditions, just weight loss. You need to keep in mind that it is not recommended that you just cold turkey come off of it. I know that there are a lot of doctors out there that are doing this, but all of the obesity specialists are talking about how the people who have been put on these medications who want to try to come off of them, regardless of diagnosis, but specifically for weight loss, the best success that they have seen are people who do a maintenance dose and maintain their weight loss for at least 6 months to a year before they start to taper down completely and come off the medication. And this is really important because I personally feel like there's not enough people talking about this. There are a ton of people talking about, obesity is a disease, it's a chronic condition, you need to be treating it for life, blah, blah, blah. And that's absolutely true, 100%. There are some people who are able to get down to a healthy weight, a healthy BMI, a healthy, overall physical condition, and come off the medications after doing maintenance and then tapering off, and then maintain that weight loss. And I personally feel like there are not enough people talking about that in a positive light. I love that people are talking about, hey, obesity is a condition. If it was any other condition, you would take a medication for life, yada, yada, yada. And I 100% agree. But if there's anything that GLP-1 meds have taught us, it's that even though we have clinical trials, even though we have the majority of people who may have a certain side effect, right? That each person is an individual and they will have individual results. Some people only lose 20% of their body weight. No matter what they do, no matter what dosing they get to, it's just the way it is. That's how their body functions with this medicine. There are others who lose hundreds and hundreds of pounds, right? That come down from, there's one gentleman that I'm following that's coming down from close to 700 pounds. And he's down hundreds of pounds on this medication. Right? That's a lot more than 20%. Like, it really just depends, and each person is an individual. So, you want to check with your insurance. You want to be aware of what your original diagnosis is, and you want to be ready to fight that good fight with lab work, doctor's notes, right? if your prior authorization gets denied, you want to make sure that you are in a position where if it is denied and it takes months to get it approved for your maintenance, that you're not going without the medication. Whether that means that, you get a 3-month supply to help hold you over, or you look into compounding, whatever works for you. The key point is to be prepared. Expect that things will go poorly and be prepared. If they go great and you do your prior authorization and your insurance covers it, yay, right? Okay, then you prepared for nothing, but at least you were ready in case something went sideways. What you don't want to do is you don't want to just assume that everything's going to be okay, and then all of a sudden you're having to cold turkey come off the medication because your insurance goes, no, we're not going to cover maintenance. You don't need that, right? Be ready to fight it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe. I'd love to have you along for the ride. Make sure you check out my other videos where I have helpful tips and tricks on your health journey. And if you have a question, make sure you put it in the comments section below, because I do read the comments and I'll make a video to answer your question. If you're looking for a positive-only support group, don't worry, I've got you covered. Link in the description box below. And as always, be kind, rewind.